Hello. I've been experiencing low energy levels, and I felt there is no reserve to put that energy into action, including filming. Filming was also really hard for me. And I think there's a lot of us that experience it, sort of not really a burnout, but leaning into it, I guess. I also noticed there is real big correlation to the temperature and how flat I'm feeling. So when our temperature hits 27 and above inside, that's it. I'm done. So we call it summertime sadness, I guess. Today it went down to 26. For now, it looks pretty gray, and I'm hoping it's not gonna go back up. Let's start with the simplest little thing that makes me happy, and I love talking about it, and my channel is full of it. It's books.
Do you ever think that you're tired of being hero and being portrayed as a villain all the time? Don't worry, I got you. We are gonna be just spending relaxing and resetting time, really doing little pleasure things. And as a first instance, I got myself some books because all I've been talking about is books anyway. But look at this. A magical girl retires. I feel like I want to read this because, we all feel a bit burnout all the time. Yeah, I thought like this is entire mood and that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm really looking forward to read it and hopefully feel some relaxation vibes. And it feels like such a quick read and it has images in between. So yeah, and the next one, just to follow the mood, I picked up How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying because I heard this is about the hero who is tired of always losing the battles and suddenly decides to flip it all around and become a Dark Lord. But anyway, so I feel like both of them follow the same mood. I also heard people kind of recommending this one, so what is the best time to spend a week or so and read these books and just enjoy myself.
So I started filming this vlog. I wanted to do a reading challenge for these two books. So I finished reading Magical Girl Retires because, I'm tired to always be in that responsibility range of being a hero. So either way, Magical Girl Retires is a wonderful, I believe, what I might be guessing, Korean book. And it's really short, and look how pretty is this cover. Honestly, I looked up the artist because I thought it was absolutely magical. Definitely nothing like I've seen before because it marries graphic novels, comic books, and the prose. In terms of every chapter has a little panel. And let me just show you. Also, mask, right? So there is some interlap, but this is sort of after pandemic years, so it's really new. And I like that people actually put in pandemic somewhere as a mention because it did happen. And we reset, and the world reset from that time. But either way, this is about a lady who was already depressed to start with and then was discovered as a magical girl at 29. Yeah, and she learns she's a magical girl. Nothing really changes. She's still poor and can't afford anything. And then it's time for her to retire. And literally, this book sort of just goes through that very short period of her realization to retirement. But honestly, it was very quick read and very gorgeous panels and very, very original, weird concept. So, I never seen magical girls in novels, and I think it's definitely a sort of treasure trove to dig. Then I read this, How to Become Dark Lord or Die Trying, and annotations are like Fondly, and someone else had a little annotation where I'm like, oh, this is also a great writer. Let me see. Oh, Shannon Maguire? I know that writer as well, and I was like, yeah, it sounds like it could be great because we see it's almost like a greatest book of the year or something. I am only in the beginning. I think I fell into a reading slump reading it, not necessarily reading it, but because I was feeling flat. But it is another sort of depression. It even gives trigger warnings on depression and suicide. But basically, we have this hero who dies and dies and dies again. And I think we're still in his heroic age. So it's really, even though it's told in very original, unique, game world-like way, and being a bit funny and sarcastic, I feel it's a very slow read for me. And I'm just doing it in very, very small paragraphs and it's going through. So yeah, I'm a bit of in a slump. I wonder, the other thing that when I was in a slump before, I did a dig through my partner's superhero books. And that's another thing that I'm wondering to do. Let me look at that. Okay, since we're doing a proper reset today, or this week, let's say, I thought I'll pick up some graphic novels to read in between or whatnot, because that's really good way to come back from a reading slump for me, most of the times. So my partner said this was pretty good, Spider-Man Life Story. So I have picked up this one from our shelves, and Saga, because none of us have read it, so thought that would be a good thing. And something even lighter, which is Sarah Scribble's collection, which I think would be perfect. So I think for reset purposes, I might do these ones. So that encapsulates books. So the second part was that I realized that my plants need replanting, because once you're overwhelmed, you forget to not only taking care of yourself, but also your plants.
So one of the other things I decided to do to sort of reset and feel a little better is sort of indulging to the nature. And I got myself a green plant, a little fern. And I doubt it's gonna live very long because none of the little plants survive, and I'm also repotting my cactuses because those managed to die pretty much, and they dried out from the bottom, but we still have green branches on top, so I'm actually a little bit late to repot them because I didn't find a good small amount of soil for these little cactuses. So we're just looking at researching soil, and now I found like a liter, so I'm like, well, it's still too much, and I'm spending time to resoil them and repot them, but I feel like if I have done it last week, it would have better chance of survival. It's a bit sad.
Creativity was also kind of going down for me, and it's just making thoughts and making like ideas to consolidate into something was really difficult. And prompts for Peachtober came out, and I know that I won't be able to do one picture day in October, so I started working through them, and they are super weird. What I wanted to share with you today, in terms of that, is some entries of my sketchbook. I won't show you the actual Peachtober ones, but I'll show you what I've been drawing in the past few weeks, let's say. So I love this one. Look at the bear and this little sprite that reminds me of Cookie from my from my novel. There is a spirit of umbrella in Japanese mythology, and I wanted just to make this little shy spirit sprite. So these were I already actually included them filming another thing, and you might have seen my Instagram bread spread. I did 2 of them, so this was the first one, and I wasn't happy with it, so I invented this one, and that's on my Instagram spread. And my favorite of all was this. Look at this little guy. It reminds me of my partner cooking for me. He's always very happy when he's cooking, so, you know. magical. And there were some completely ridiculous pages and an actual finished pieces. But when I was starting to sketch for Peachtober, and one of the things is paw. One of the prompts is called paw. And this was the failed entry in my. I did another one later, but this prompt completely escaped me. So I did this bear sort of frown, and how approval looks like. A paw on the face. I don't know. Honestly, this just was to encapsulate how weird and like inconsistent was my art as well. And yeah, and I'm really struggling. And I'm really going through these prompts right now and drawing them because I feel like I need to do at least 15 this month because otherwise I really won't be managing. But yeah, it's really out there. So that's part of for art. Let's talk food. Food is another thing that really makes me happy. And for a really long time in the past, when I had some slumps in my mood before, I found making pancakes therapeutic. Even though might not want to eat pancakes all the time, but making pancakes for me or my partner, making them all pretty with a lot of like fruit in the plate, I found that was being really therapeutic for me. So my partner taught me how to make Rice Krispies squares. So here we are. So obviously it's another day. I'm still very tired. I'm constantly very tired. That's what we're dealing with. But another thing that I did have, including snacks, Pop-Tarts. It's funny because it was the first time I ate Pop-Tarts this week. And my partner likes documenting new foods for me. And there's a lot. There's a lot of experiences like I haven't had. My childhood was very sad. So here we go. I had some Pop-Tarts as well. So, all the snacky things. I also want to talk about games because the only time I play games is actually when I need to recover and unwind. I don't tend to necessarily play games all the time. And also with friends, of course. But I don't necessarily play games all the time. It's usually days where I can't really be creative, I can't do anything else, or generally after work, let's say, where again, no brain power. So I was like unwinding with playing some games. Now I have got myself Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I really didn't like it, sadly. I did try to stick with it. I got like 3 stars upgrade or whatnot, but I just thought it's such a hard work. Even though it's not necessarily, but every quest is about someone else abusing this poor Pokemon. I'm not a Pokemon girl, so maybe that's why it wasn't a big sell for me, but I was like, oh, can I get into it? But basically every quest was like, I need another tool, can you bring me this Pokemon? Type of situation. And I didn't felt like real progress. I just felt like all you do is just, like, you're not guided through like progress. You don't have like a map to complete necessarily. It's just literally the same and you can do it in any order. Like there's not an order of quests or anything like that that would be more guided progress. So it really felt like too hard of a work for me. And then I got back to the game that I used to play like a few years ago, which was also an unwinding game. I think there is an expansion which I don't have right now. Sorry, I'm just loading it for you guys, but it is a cozy game. It's very low energy. It doesn't feel like work for me, at least. Though it's also similar type of almost like farming, questing type of a game. It's called Cozy Grove, right? And you help ghost spirits, and I think it's perfect for autumn, and that's why it was perfect choice right now. You help friendly spirits, and they regain their memories and become more like lifelike. So you do feel progress with each of them, even though for a long time you have the same map, the same spirits, still you level up them up to a certain level. And I believe the expansion called New Neighbors, so I would imagine that it gives you a set of spirits. So I have not completed all the spirits anyway, because I only play it when I'm really low on energy. So I recently fished it out and started playing it again. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it because I have seen Cozy Grove on other channels as well. After I was have already discovered it, so that's why I thought, I never mentioned it's not a bad thing. And look at this like Calcifer-like loading fire, right? It has very much Calcifer vibes. All in all, this was more of a summary and me rambling in my very comfortable clothes and just being, happier, lazy. Anyway, so in summary, I did quite a good progress with all these little things, my plants are thriving, still thriving and all that. I have read the Magical Girl Retires, but I also have read comics. And I just wanted to say that I did manage to read. Saga was not really for this mood. I didn't, because of the images, I thought it's more fantasy. I didn't know it's more like a space opera. And it's definitely not what I'm vibing with right now. I'm reading Spider-Man still, but I'm really, close to finishing. I could probably have finished before talking to you guys. I like how it's arranged by decades. I like, it's very systematic. I think the fans probably would catch more of little symbols and mentions than I can, but yeah, definitely enjoying it. And Red Sarah Scribbles, which also enjoying it, but I think it's the older ones. Looking at it, it's probably the older ones. I think we incidentally found it somewhere when we were walking for shopping. So yeah, also had a good time with it. In terms of Peachtober, I'm actually managed to do like 8 or 9 prompts now, so getting up the schedule, and that's really about it. It's more of an update rather than a proper vlog, but I thought I wasn't in the mood of filming and I just got you along with me. Thank you for being with me in my tired mood, and hopefully we get something more interesting. I'm really hoping to film character development video on writing, and I think that will be still somewhere on my top priorities, so keep an eye for it. See you next time. Bye.